Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission is always the same. You share the crucial sources, the articles, the research, and we distill them into the essential knowledge you need, serving it up in one concentrated, insightful conversation. Today we're on a really fascinating mission, a deep dive into the continuation of, I think, one of the most intellectually compelling anime of the last few years, Gnosia. We're focusing entirely on the details around the upcoming second core. They're officially calling it the Truth Arc.
And the announcement materials, they really give us a roadmap, not just for the story, but for the payoff of the entire premise. I mean, we're looking at sources that outline this complex blend of, social deduction, paranoia.
And that relentless time loop.
Exactly. The goal today is really to just unpack all that complexity so you're fully prepared when the show finally drops.
Exactly. This isn't just a summary. It's about getting the why behind the whole structure.
Yeah.
And if you've been following the first core, you know the stakes are just massive.
They are.
So we should probably start with the biggest detail, the thing everyone's been asking about from the notes we got, the release date.
Yeah, that's the critical piece. I mean, the buzz across the official website and social media has been building, especially since that little tease video came out. So we can confirm the second core, the Truth Arc, is set for release on January 10th, 2026.
Okay, so January 10th.
Yep. It launches directly after the 12th episode of the first core wraps up. So that gives us a really clear marker for when this whole search for knowledge is going to intensify.
And speaking of knowledge, let's frame this whole thing around that central idea in the source material, gnosis, the desire for, total understanding. Because in the world of Gnosia, knowledge isn't just power, it's the only weapon the protagonist really has against all this chaos and repetition. Okay, so let's unpack the foundation. For anyone who came into the anime fresh, it's easy to miss just how important the source material is. This whole universe, it started as a highly acclaimed social deduction RPG.
Right, from Titipoto.
Yeah, published by Playism. And that origin is really the secret sauce.
Oh, we cannot overstate how significant that RPG origin is. The DNA of this story, it isn't high-octane action, it's social leverage.
Right.
It's basically a closed-room mystery on a spaceship. And the conflict is defined entirely by, conversation, observation, and just pure deceit.
A classic setup.
Totally classic. A group is stranded, and somewhere among them is a shape-shifting alien menace called the Gnosia.
And the way they try to survive is it's brutal. Every single day, the crew has a discussion, they vote, and they have to try and identify the imposter.
And then what?
Then they send that person to cryostasis. Immediate, irreversible judgment. The stakes are instant death for whoever's chosen, and, survival for the rest, for one more day.
And what's so fascinating is how the adaptation takes that strategic gameplay, the voting, the different character roles, the dialogue trees, and just transforms it into this compelling psychological drama. In the game, you're spending 90% of your time just reading and debating. The anime captures that sense of relentless, critical analysis, but under this extreme pressure. You're not watching them fight a monster.
No, you're watching them tear each other apart trying to guess who the monster is.
Exactly. It completely subverts the genre. Unlike other social deduction games where you just want to win, Gnosia uses the mechanics to, study human behavior under duress.
Yeah, the characters aren't just pieces on a board. They are reacting to this immediate life or death challenge. You're trying to find the one Gnosia, knowing that one wrong accusation
Means you just eliminated an innocent ally.
Yeah, it's high-stakes paranoia, just distilled. And that brings us to the core narrative twist, which is where the anime absolutely elevates the game. Here's where it gets really interesting. The entire scenario is complicated by the protagonist, Yuri, who's caught in a relentless time loop.
And this is the genius of the whole structure. Every day, the infiltration happens, the crew argues, someone gets frozen. And then, for Yuri, it all resets.
Right. But the roles change.
The roles change, the crew members might be different things, Gnosia, guardian angel, whatever. But Yuri's memory stays. She has to relive that same day over and over again, carrying the psychological weight of every single failure.
It sounds just incredibly frustrating. But that unique burden is actually her superpower, isn't it?
It is.
If the game resets, but she remembers who lied, who was innocent, which strategies failed, she has this massive informational advantage.
She's essentially collecting data. In a universe that looks deterministic, her actions can actually change the outcome.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, Yuri's quest just instantly becomes about so much more than survival.
Oh, absolutely. She's not just playing to win one round. She's running countless simulations to unravel a much, much deeper truth.
The mechanism of the time loop itself.
Exactly. Why is this happening? Who or what is making this happen? The Gnosia threat almost becomes secondary to this bigger philosophical puzzle of, existence and memory.
And the announcement materials we have, they strongly suggest the success of the first core was exactly that. It blended cold strategy with this really deep character exploration. It wasn't just about the mystery.
It was about the toll it takes on Yuri.
She's the only one carrying the weight of infinite failure, which is so crucial for the truth arc to pay off emotionally. That buildup of knowledge is both empowering and, I imagine, kind of destructive.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's transition to the talent behind the adaptation. Because adapting a game that's all about internal monologue and these weird nonlinear loops, that takes a specialized kind of finesse.
Oh, absolutely.
We really need to look at the creative team to understand why we should have confidence in this truth arc.
Right. I mean, the team they've assembled really needs to handle both narrative complexity and visual translation. The studio is Domerica, and the director is Kazuya Ichikawa.
And his background is pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, if you look at his work on The World Ends With You, the animation, you see someone who's really skilled at taking these complex, non-traditional game mechanics and translating their emotional core to the screen.
A very specific skill set.
A very specific and very necessary skill set for Gnosia.
That's a great connection. And then there's the scripting. Chuki Haneda is on series composition and scripts. His credits, things like Girls Band Cry, point to a writer who can manage these long, interconnected arcs.
And build towards these massive revelations. When you're dealing with branching timelines and loops, the scriptwriter they're the true architect.
They have to be.
They have to maintain momentum across all these different loops while building this one single line of tension toward the final truth. And then the visuals are just as important.
The character designs.
The character designs by Arisa Matsura, they're so distinct. And that's essential when a character's role friend or foe changes every single day. You have to recognize and judge them instantly.
And we can't skip the sound design. An atmosphere built on paranoia needs an incredible score. The notes confirm the soundtrack is by Hideyuki Fukasawa, known for Tokyo 24th Ward, and that's what locks in that atmosphere. The music transforms a puzzle into a genuine thriller.
It really does. It creates this auditory pressure cooker. When a show relies so much on dialogue and accusations, the music has to heighten the tension without, distracting you.
Right.
The score becomes this extra character, emphasizing the dread that only Yuri really feels.
Right. So we've covered the mechanics, the time loop, the team behind it. Let's talk about the payoff. For anyone who hasn't caught up, the first episodes are all on Crunchyroll.
And they really establish the tension well.
For sure. But now all that setup is demanding a monumental delivery in the truth arc.
Right. The first core was the investigation. The truth arc has to be the conclusion. And the sources highlight these huge questions that have to be answered on January 10th.
It's moved beyond just who is the Gnosia now.
Oh, it's so much more profound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's what is the synthesis of all the data Yuri has collected? What ultimate truths, that gnosis, will she finally uncover? How will the time loop evolve or maybe even shatter?
We've seen the repetition, now we need to see the mechanism break. And that's the critical part. The resolution can't just be a simple, aha, it was you.
No, it has to be more.
The final reveal of the Gnosia has to tie directly back to the reason the loop exists in the first place. We are expecting a philosophical answer that explains the entire cycle.
So the imposter isn't just an alien.
They're likely integral to the very system that has trapped Yuri this whole time.
So what does this all mean for you, the viewer? I mean, the truth arc isn't just promising closure on a mystery. It's promising a complete shift in how you understand the narrative.
It's the ultimate pursuit of knowledge in a scenario designed to confuse and deceive. The time loop was the laboratory.
And now we get the results. The moment where all that accumulated wisdom, all those failures, finally pays off.
It's going to be good.
It is incredibly exciting to think about how they'll structure it. So mark your calendars for January 10th, 2026. Gnosia continues its tale of the time loop, the shapeshifting menace, and Yuri's desperate quest for truth.
And this leaves us with a final, I think, provocative thought, drawing from the really heavy themes of the series. Consider Yuri's constant reliving of events, right? She's forced to watch and participate in the same deadly scenario with the same untrustworthy people. So if you were forced to replay that same day, Would accumulating all that knowledge, that gnosis, would it ultimately make you safer? Or would the constant, tragic, inevitable truth just become harder and harder to bear with every single cycle?
A perfect paradox of knowledge versus emotional endurance to leave you contemplating until the truth arc launches. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.